your results determine your revenue. You're getting paid by the amount of value you bring to this customer, how fast you can get them there or how far you can take them. That's it. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mind Flux podcast, where we give you the mindset tips, tools, and tactics for success, and we give them alongside our journey. On this episode, we're going to talk about the 5 ways to think about your business before you start, because there are millions of businesses, coaches, books, and all these things on this topic of owning a profitable business. And then there's the same thing for, having a profitable mind, but very few of them mend together and blend together. And so we're going to bridge that gap today from our own experience and from the people and things that we've studied. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave a review after this episode. I'm one of your hosts, Tristan Parmley, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Josh Matthews.
And Josh, take it away, man. Why is it so important to set your mind up before you set your business up?
Yeah, so first, I just think it's so important just because when it comes to business and just even from our experience, it's really just been all mindset, the way you think about things, because so many different things happen when it comes to starting up, during and for the rest of your lifetime. So many things mentally that you come across, because it's probably one of the hardest things that you can even do, I think, just because you're trying to create an income for yourself. You got to create an income for other people. You have, mishaps. You have times like right now during a pandemic. The way you think about your business and how you go about it is very, 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 very crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I heard a video that you shared yesterday where somebody said, the business is just numbers. Let's look at your numbers first, right? The business is just numbers. Well, the thing that gives those numbers, a beating heart, that gives those numbers a mission, that gives those numbers a destination that is trying to go, are the people, right? There's a quote in network marketing that really we've used in all of our businesses, which is build the people and the people will build the business, because businesses cannot build themselves, right? But for people to build and to move forward, the mind is the most important thing, because you're going to continue living life. And what happens while you're living, right? You lose people, you get sick, you get injured, different things happen. You got to work out, you got to eat right, you get in relationships. You still got to be a human and enjoy that experience. And then your business starts to feel like your life, right? Mm-hmm. So while you can, look at them separately, you can also blend them together, so that way your business is an extension of you and your mission and where you're trying to go. And I think that takes us to, our first point about, getting your mind right and of these 5 ways to think about your business before you actually start it. And that first thing is who, not how. Josh, you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I think when people first start a business, their mind automatically just goes to how they're going to do something, which is totally the last thing they should even be thinking about, because we say it all the time. Once you just know what it is you're trying to do, the people, resources, the how to do it appears. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to who, you have to decide who, you want to serve. What skill do you have or do you want to obtain to help a specific type of person? And that's the most important thing when it comes to business. You have to know what it is you're good at and who exactly you can help. And that's been proven true for us. When we first started our first agency, it was okay, we want to learn the skill of digital marketing and we want to help business owners. And as time went on, we actually fine-tuned that to where it was okay, we have the skill of digital marketing, but we want to specifically help chiropractors. And never knew how we were going to do it. Even over this past year, I had no idea how we were going to do it, because it's a whole new industry. It's a whole new way of marketing for a specific type of industry. But we just know we wanted who we wanted to serve, and we just went after it.
Exactly. And so then the how becomes who you're going to serve and how you're going to help them, not like what are you going to do, right? So like a lot of people would think of like, okay, the what I want to do is fix my car, right? Well, you're not even thinking about the type of cars. You're not even thinking about the parts that go into the cars. You're just thinking about like, oh, I want to get this done, right? And that's not enough when you first start your business. You need to know who you want to serve, because you're going to be able to, when you know who, you're going to know the problems that they have, right? So see a need, fill a need. So you want to figure out who that customer is and where they're at in their life, where they're at in their journey, where are they trying to go, right? And we've said on multiple episodes, there is a place, right? Everyone's trying to go there. Everyone's trying to get there. For our chiropractors, they're trying to make a certain amount of money. They're trying to impact a certain amount of lives. They're trying to get a certain amount of people towards better health, right? And as an extension of us, one of my core missions in life has always been to help people get more, to help people get better, and to help people with their health. I have a degree in exercise science. I have an amazing athletic career. Like it's part of my life. Everything has been better when I felt better, when I've looked better, when I've been in shape, right? But for me, coaching people in that or helping other people isn't my best service. It's not my best skill. Instead, you and I can make 10 times the impact with our digital marketing, helping a chiropractor who can then help 2,000 or 3,000 people a year. Even more than that, they can help 5,000, 10,000 people a year. So if you do the math, 10,000 customers with one chiropractor, and we help 100 of those, now you're talking about what, a million people?
Mm-hmm.
I can't personally coach a million people, but I can personally affect a million people. So you want to know the who, not how. Who is your end customer? Who is your current customer? Because like Josh said, the how is going to come together. And, you know, at times, how you help them is going to change, right? So like we also own a credit company. And when this COVID, 19 started, and I think no matter what time period you're listening to this episode, you're going to know exactly what we're talking about, right? We've been in quarantine for a long time. And when this started, at first, we weren't able to help our customers in the same way that we were. So we had to kind of transition and help a little bit of a different customer in a little bit of a different way, but ultimately to get more, to get better, to help them get further along in their life. So we've got the same end mission, but now we've got a different customer. So I think that first overall concept, and if you've got a pen and paper, and you should write this down, is who do I want to help today? And how do I want to help them? Where are they trying to go? That's it. Not what am I going to do for them? Where are they trying to go? I think that's that first step. I think that's critical.
Right, which I think like transition to that next step of like immediate action and information, which transition to that, because you kind of hit on that story of how, the beginning of COVID, for us, like we couldn't serve our clients the way we used to. We had to like kind of take a step back and hit the drawing boards again and kind of create a new plan. So then that way, once we come out of this, like we're on track, which we are now, which is a blessing. But during that time, we had this idea of like, okay, I came across, this will happen. I came across, I was scrolling through social media and seeing someone post about how you can, learn the credit skill and everything using a certain platform and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, we could just use this for me, you, and then like another friend of ours, not even thinking about just trying to help a bunch of people yet. It just started out as that. But then once we started diving into the information and diving into, the learning platform that they provided, that's when we was like, oh crap, like this can actually like become a thing. And then immediately after that, we just started taking action on different things, which is like very important. And like, this is my point. Like when it comes to like, when it comes to deciding who you want to help and gaining that skill or cultivating that skill that you have to be willing to build on top of that and learn more, but also immediately take action on what it is. Because like, if you learn something and then you just sit on it, you're never going to get it done.
Right. If you learn something, that's not learning, that's knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love Bob Proctor. He talks about that. Learning is getting emotionally involved with the idea, because emotion creates motion. So you want to backtrack that, you've got to get moving. Right. And when you are moved by something, that's why they call it a movie. When you're emotionally involved with an idea, you're actually applying it. So with the way that you can think of it is like in religion, right? when somebody gets saved, right? For the first time, and they become a born again Christian, they're out there telling everybody about this blessing, about where they're going with their life and where they're going when their life is over, right? And I think everybody knows somebody who's experienced that. Or you think about somebody when they first start network marketing and they realize they have a vehicle, or somebody in the insurance business who finds out about life insurance, right? And now they're contacting everybody to share this information. When you get new information, it's not enough to have the information. What takes it to the next step is like what Josh said, taking action, and that comes from that emotional involvement. Okay, so a lot of people would say, don't be emotionally attached to your business. Well, I wouldn't fully agree or disagree with that. What we're thinking is emotionally attached with where you're trying to go and where they're trying to go, because that'll move you forward, and that'll allow you the room to change your business as you go. So find a course, find a mentor, find the books that are specifically going to help your customer. So if your customer's chiropractors, we want to find all the marketing information for chiropractors that already exist. And we're going to execute that already until we find that model is ineffective or not as effective to get to the results that we're trying to get. And then we're going to make the new model, right? And that's in Think and Grow Rich as well, that the genius exhausts all resources and uses all known methods. And until he finds those methods ineffective, he invents a new one. Yep. Right. And I love that I like reading that one sentence, and that's not the exact quote, I'm paraphrasing, but I was like, oh, so for the past year when we worked for our clients and we executed every strategy we knew how, then we were able to create our new thing that actually takes them where they want to go, because all of those only got 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. And now this actually does. So the how will take care of itself. You just know the who and where they're trying to go.
Exactly. And like one little tip is, like, even if it's like, say you're like reading a book, and say it's like a tactical book. So it's not just some book, just with fluff and just not really giving you like any action to like that you can like apply to your life. Say it's like a very tactical book. Before you even move on to the next chapter, like take the action steps required for that first chapter before you even move on. Mm-hmm. Or like you say, if it's that course, take the action steps before you move on, because that's what that's going to do. That's going to make you feel accomplished. That's going to give you that sense of confidence that you need to go to the next step. And it's going to get you excited to go to the next step. So, and that can mean like, once you read that first chapter, make a list of what that is, get it done. Or you got it done, move on to the next. And that's going to create momentum. Because the biggest thing that you need when it comes to, especially when you're merging information with action, you need that momentum to keep you moving forward, because it's very easy to procrastinate and stop and not get done what you need to get done. And now you're just sitting there actionless.
Exactly. And it's an ebb and flow, right? It's an ebb and flow, new information, new action, new information, new action. And that is going to prime your mind for what you also need to provide for your customers in terms of mindset. So for us, like, our customers are twice our age, and some of them have done millions of dollars in business, but they're coming to us. And at the time they were coming to us when we first got started, and we didn't have anything to show for it. But what we did have was a skill, and we had a place that we were trying to help them go. So I like what you said about that. And that takes us to our next point, gather your resources. Your resources is in your time, the people you already know, the people who they already know, the books, again, the courses, all of that will be there. And that will give you a starting point when it comes to that action. And you just said it, don't even move forward until you do the action in that chapter. We read a book called Profit First. It completely changed our business, and I'd recommend it for everybody out there. It was recommended by one of our clients because they saw how hard we were working, and we didn't have a financial coach. We had a coach for everything else. So she gave us this book, and in the first chapter, it says to email the author. And I didn't know what was going to be waiting on the other side, but we did it. We emailed the author. We sent the email that it said to do, and when I got that email back, it actually had links with free PDFs and free information and more things that I could get. So on the other side of that one action was actually more reward, right? So by gathering the resources, like the email to the author of this book, or the list of books that every time somebody recommends to us, and then taking the action on that, I was able to move a little bit further, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So definitely, get what you need. Get what you need in terms of the information and take action. Which I think you already transitioned to that next step of like gathering your resources, which I think is like one of like the most important things, because a lot of things that stop most people is them thinking they lack the resources that they need to take action. And it goes back to that thing of saying, like, don't worry about how you're going to do something, because it's been proven many times for me and Tristan, literally so many times, that, we do, even if we don't have what we need, we will get it, just because like that's the main thing we focus on. It's like, okay, if we don't have, say, a certain amount of money to get started, we're going to think of every single way possible on how we can get it. Like, to the point where even if there's no way we can get it from the bank, there's no way we can get it from, our personal accounts, we'll go and ask family members. We'll go and ask friends. We will figure, or we'll go and try to provide another service, and that way we can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been proven, not just with money, but with anything. Like, even like the office that we had, it's like we didn't have the resources for that, but we made it happen. And it's just all because of our thoughts and the will that we have within ourselves to want and go get it, because the universe will always reward you when it knows that you want it.
Exactly. You're planting that seed. Like when we moved into our office, right? We got thousands of dollars of furniture for free. We didn't even know that the client that we had owned a furniture store, but we needed to gather our resources, right? Our time, our energy. Like, we didn't have the money for this office, but we let everybody know we were moving into an office. Because when you let people know what you're up to, the first thing they want to do is help. They want to contribute to your success. I think a lot of people think you've got haters or nobody supports them. It's like, no, when they see what you're doing, not what you say, what you're doing, they will support you. So they saw our stories of us going in and out of this office that we were going to get, even though we had no money in the bank account. They saw the work that we were doing every single day, even though we weren't paying ourselves. We were helping thousands of dollars. And when that store launched, they made like 20 grand in their first month. Mm-hmm. And it was because of the marketing, partly because of the marketing that we did. And they rewarded us. They owned a furniture store. We had no idea, with all this free stuff. So gather those resources in the people, because Dave Meltzer talks about, who do you know that can help me? And is there any way that I can help you? And he starts with that question first, because as an entrepreneur or as a creator or as somebody who's out there, sometimes you're going to be digging your own grave by trying to help everyone else and never asking for help on your own. So that resource that you're looking for as you're gathering it is also who can help you get there. The money, the time, the people, what resources are going to help you move forward. So again, step one is, of course, who, not how, right? Focusing on the customer. Step two is immediate action and information, get moving. Step three is gather your resources, the money, the people, the time, and get those together so you can move forward. Josh, what's step number 4 in setting up your mind for a business?
Step number 4 is always start with the trial. And this is what we mean. Now, this could mean, a free trial. This could mean working for free. This is something that me and Tristan did. Or this could mean just doing anything to get in the door, to provide the service or the product that you offer. Because like when you're first starting off, like you can't be so hard sold on that, I'm going to provide this service at my price. Nobody can steer me away from it. Now, I mean, that is a good mindset to have. Like, you gotta know what you're worth. But when it comes to, trying to get in the door and amplify yourself and your business, like, you just have to figure out how you can just get in the door, execute, and then you can control the terms of everything that's going on. So like for me and Tristan, one thing that we did, we were executing work for free when we first started. We were doing stuff at a major discounted rate, like not even taking into account operating costs, and we were just charging such a low fee and accepting it just because like we wanted to work so bad. We wanted to get the skills needed in order to get paid for how we feel we were worth in the future. So like with this, I think it is very important for you to, figure out how you can serve no matter the price. Like get how much you're getting paid out of your mind, because that shouldn't even be your first focus. Your first focus should be just getting good at what you do. So then that way you can ask any price in the future.
Exactly. Because what Josh said, getting good at what you do. I know there was a lot of people out there listening now. Well, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense, right? What's a dream if it doesn't pay? Why would I start a business and all these numbers if there aren't any numbers? Guys, we're not talking about just money, right? It could be a trial with your time. If you're building a physical product, it could be just doing it at cost. What you have to understand is your goal, if you're doing this the right way, is taking a customer and getting them to a certain destination. Okay. Think about the first time you ever used a map or a compass, or the first time you ever used Google Maps. You looking down at your phone. Are we pointing the right direction? Are we figuring out, you might pass a turn. The first time you go to a friend's house, you might blow right by a light that you're supposed to turn at. Like, you don't know exactly what you're doing. You don't know where you're going. You've never done this before. Right? And there's a quote by Garrett White, who's a very popular coach in like the man's world, like the man space. And he says, at first you're going to suck. And the more that you do it, you're going to suck a little less and a little less. And eventually you'll suck so little, you might actually be good. And that's when the tides turn. That's when the price changes. That's when you're able to say, like, no, I've gotten these results, because your results determine your revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting paid by the amount of value you bring to this customer, how fast you can get them there, or how far you can take them. That's it, right? So, like, think about cars. The more expensive cars are the ones that get you there faster, or the ones that last longer. So when you think about this trial, when you think about this phase, we did a little bit too much in the terms of working for free, right? And we'll be the first ones to tell you that. But we wouldn't change it for the world, because we earned that irreplaceable space within our customer, within our niche, within our business, and we discovered the real problem that needed solved. We thought the problem was this type of campaign, this type of campaign, this type of service. That wasn't it. The real problem of where they were trying to get, we were able to create the solution by doing all those other things, by following the steps beforehand. And I think that's huge when we're talking about a trial. It's not always money. Trial does not always mean $0 or at cost. Sometimes you do paid trials, but what you're sacrificing is your time or your energy or your team, or testing something new.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, which, kind of transition to our next point, because you said it. We tested so many things during our trial periods to where it was like, we tried so many things to the point where sometimes, like, we were so hard sold on what we were trying to do that we were missing, the big piece of the pie over here. So which brings us to this next point of just like keeping your eyes open. Because one thing that, me and Tristan noticed, for example, working with our chiropractic clients, like, we were trying to do all these things. We were trying to be a certain type of agency, but the whole time we're missing this big piece of the pie, and our clients were literally telling us what they wanted.
Yeah. And we were like, no, we're trying to do this.
Right.
And they're like, hey, can you do this? And then that would do well. And we were just like, cool, let's go back to this.
Exactly. Like, we were totally not keeping in account what they wanted. And one thing that, kind of like opened my eyes is, like, even like, for example, like there's no way your clients cannot be satisfied. Like, yes, you definitely want to provide them with something they didn't think they needed, and like, and overproduce on what the idea of what, on the results and everything. But like, if you give your clients exactly what they need, especially if they tell you like what they want, like, there's no way they can't be happy about it.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of like, just in the past, months, me and Tristan, our eyes have been open, which has transitioned us into like serving our clients a little bit different now, with exactly like what they were looking for, not just what everybody else was doing, giving them what they wanted just by listening. Like, if they say, hey guys, we like these ideas, we want this. Okay, how can we serve that? Because like, if we can provide them exactly what they want, we're irreplaceable.
Exactly. And Luciana brought up a good point when we were kind of pre-framing this topic. Well, you guys have service-based businesses, right? Well, every business, first of all, every business is a service-based business. Your product gets them where you want to go, or your team gets them where you want to go. That's right. It's always a service. It's always a service to do business. And in Josh and I's world and the businesses that we work in, we do work hand to hand with our customers. But when it comes to keeping your eyes open, when it comes to trying to get to this place, when it comes to these trials, when it comes to, the who, not the how, this applies to every type of business because you're focusing on the problem that needs solved, and you don't want to overlook those things. And it doesn't matter if it's the service or your product. So the difference is the thing I can think of is like when they were trying to invent the raincoat, a waterproof substance, they ended up with the sticky notes, a sticky substance that was just sticky enough, right? I think that's the analogy or the inventions that got mixed and matched. And then eventually they got the raincoat, right? Or somebody tries to think of a disinfectant and ends up with window cleaner or something like that makes glass perfect. Like, don't overlook the blessing that you've created or the gold mine that you've stumbled across in your search for diamonds, right? If you're sitting here trying to create or look for diamonds this big when you've got gold mounds that are massive, right? They're sitting next to you worth millions of dollars. And if you're following my analogy, and Josh and I were so focused on one thing, one way, that we were blocking out all of our own blessings. We were blocking out all of our own distractions. It's like we weren't willing to change. And Luciana said this too, like people are so focused on building a business that will serve them or take care of them that they stop taking care of themselves. So we were doing all this stuff to try to serve this client and serve them in this way that we were forgetting ourselves. We were forgetting to pay ourselves. We were forgetting the services that they were telling us that they wanted. We were missing out where our eyes weren't open. Sometimes if you're laser focused, you're going to miss the things that are coming at you in your peripheral vision. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to keep those things open. You got to know and listen to your customers. Because, I mean, you said it so well, dude. It's like this is like the emotional part of this, because what we put ourselves through, we did not have to go through.
Exactly. But it was, it was meant to be that way, which that's the purpose of this podcast, is like to share our experiences and share it with other people, so then that way they can hear our perspective from it and not do exactly what we do, or like you don't have to listen to us at all, but form your own opinion about it but just make sure that you're taking every perspective in account, so then that way you can move a little faster. You can go a little faster when it comes to, developing your mindset when it comes to the business and developing like your skill set and the way you go about it. Cause like we said, like business is complete mindset. Like what stops most people from like keeping going to go and achieve millions of dollars is that their mind wasn't strong enough to stay with it and stay put and stay consistent, because it's all consistency. Like you just have to show up every day, no matter how bad you feel, no matter, like there's been plenty of times where, me and Tristan have just felt intense emotions with everything going on, but it's like, we just know, okay, as long as we get through this day, we'll feel a little better tomorrow. And even if we don't feel better tomorrow, we'll feel better next week. And things always turn around, because when there's a downturn, on every downswing, there's always an upswing. So just like keep that in mind with everything that we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. So to summarize these 5 points, guys, 5 ways to think about your business before you start. We have the who, not the how. All right, so who are you trying to serve and where are they trying to go? Because the how will take care of itself. We have immediate action and information. So get all the information about getting them where they're trying to go and start taking action on that first. Don't try to create some new way or over complicate it until you've tried and exhausted all these other methods. Then you can go and create a new one, make the old model obsolete. Again, number 3 is gather your resources. So part of that resources is the information, but it's also the people you know and the ones that they know, your time, people's time around you, your money, and all the other things you can think of, software, right? Tools. Like, don't have too many tools in the toolbox and not be taking any action with them. Like, what good's a hammer if you're not using it on nails, right? So make sure that you're gathering your resources with this information, with this action, and then start with a trial. Get them the results, then you can worry about the revenue. At least 1 customer, at least 2 customers, at least 3 customers need to be able to say, Tristan got me here. Josh got me here. this is where I was trying to go, and they got it, because that will speak for you. That will determine everything else. And then keep your eyes open. The fifth step in this is don't overlook opportunities. Don't work yourself to the bone and miss, the gold mine while you're looking for diamonds. You have to, take a break and look at where you're at while you're going there to make sure that your customers are getting what they want, what they need, and listening to them. Josh, do you have anything else on this topic?
Nope.
Awesome, guys. Well, if you got value from this, please leave a review on iTunes and just leave a little message telling us what you liked about this episode and what episode it is. Reviews are the fastest way for us to grow this. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe and comment the number one lesson or method or way to think about your business that you got from this episode. As always, you can find us everywhere at MindFluxed, MindFluxed. And as of today, you can now go to mindflux.com and join our free mastermind where we put all of our resources, all of our information, our old episodes from our first season, and everything that we're gathering together. That's a resource for you guys to use for the tips, tools, and practices to use on your success journey. I'm one of your hosts, Tristan Parmley, and you can find me online at Tristan is Better. Where can they find you, Josh?
You can find me on IG at Josh C. Matthews.
Awesome, guys. This is 5 ways to think about your business before you start. We'll see you next week.
Peace.